The end of the four great conquerors: Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, Genghis Khan, Napoleon Bonaparte. Four men who bent the world to their will, and yet none of them were satisfied. Alexander the Great. Imagine a man who wept because conquering 2 million square miles was not enough. Alexander the Great lived for one thing: conquest. Not wealth, not governance, not legacy, only victory. For 10 straight years, he marched from battlefield to battlefield without fear, as if he were immortal. And why wouldn't he think that? He had never known defeat. His army followed him across continents, winning glory beyond imagination. But while Alexander burned with ambition, his men burned with exhaustion. They wanted to go home and enjoy the riches they had earned. Their king had no such interest. Then, in India, Alexander finally hit a wall. At the Battle of the Hydaspes River, he faced King Porus, his most formidable opponent yet. The fighting was brutal. Alexander was wounded. His legendary horse was killed. His army was shattered and exhausted. Across the river stood another massive Indian force, fresh, organized, and ready for war. For the first time in his life, Alexander was forced to listen. His men begged him to stop, to end the campaign, to return home. Reluctantly, he agreed. That decision marked the beginning of the end. Not long after, Alexander, infamous for his heavy drinking, fell gravely ill. As he lay dying, his generals gathered around him and asked a question that would change history. To whom shall your empire belong? Alexander answered with just 2 words: to the strongest. Those words ignited nearly 50 years of brutal civil war among his generals. His empire was torn apart before it could even truly exist. Alexander soon became paralyzed and was declared dead. Ancient historians claimed his body did not decompose for 6 days. Proof, they said, he was a god. Modern science offers a darker possibility. Alexander may have been alive, trapped in a coma, fully aware as he was buried, a conqueror who ruled the world powerless at the end. Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar idolized Alexander. In fact, when Caesar read about Alexander's achievement, he reportedly broke down in tears. At the same age, Alexander had conquered the Persian Empire. Caesar believed he had accomplished nothing. Determined to match his hero, Caesar rose through Roman politics and military command with ruthless ambition. Eventually, he shattered the Roman Republic and declared himself dictator for life. He didn't hide his intentions either. Caesar famously said, "If you must break the law, do it to seize power." The Roman Senate panicked. They feared Caesar was turning Rome into a monarchy and ending their authority forever. On March 15, 44 BC, the Ides of March, 60 senators surrounded him in the Senate chamber. They stabbed him 23 times. The final face Caesar saw was that of Marcus Brutus, his adopted son and trusted ally, betrayed, bleeding, dead at the feet of the Republic he destroyed. Genghis Khan, the medieval world, belonged to Genghis Khan. He conquered more land than Alexander, more than anyone in history. Cities fell, empires collapsed, entire populations vanished. Unlike Alexander or Caesar, Genghis Khan never claimed to be a god or a savior. He knew exactly what he was, a tyrant. He openly declared, "The greatest happiness is to scatter your enemy, to see their cities reduced to ashes, and to gather into your bosom their wives and daughters." His death remains a mystery. Some say he died of the bubonic plague. Others claim he was shot by an arrow and bled out days later. One legend even says a captured princess fatally wounded him in revenge. The truth may never be known because Genghis Khan ordered his death to remain a secret. He died during a critical campaign, and revealing his death could have destroyed Mongol morale. His followers obeyed him even in death. They killed everyone who crossed the path of his funeral procession to ensure secrecy. Even his corpse left a trail of death. Napoleon Bonaparte. 5 centuries later, war changed. Swords and spears gave way to artillery, and Napoleon Bonaparte mastered it like no one else. Napoleon did not see himself as a god or a tyrant. He saw himself as an artist. "I love power," he said, "but I love it as an art." To him, the battlefield was a canvas. His memory and concentration were legendary. With over 200,000 men spread across Europe, Napoleon could recall the exact location, strength, and commanders of distant units. Entire armies mapped perfectly in his mind. He conquered Europe with speed and precision, his forces moving like thunder. But ambition has a price. The wars grew bloodier. The casualties mounted. The world pushed back. In 1815, Napoleon was finally defeated at the Battle of Waterloo. The British captured him but refused to execute him. They didn't want a martyr. Instead, they exiled him to a remote island and confined him to a decaying house. There, Napoleon lived in denial. He held formal dinner. Guests wore military uniforms and evening gowns. He pretended he was still emperor. Isolation consumed him. On the 5th of May, 1821, Napoleon Bonaparte died. His final words were a reflection of everything he loved: France, the army. The head of the army, Josephine. The common fate: 4 conquerors. One died from sudden illness, one was betrayed and murdered by his own men. One vanished into legend, one died alone in captivity. They ruled the world in different eras with different weapons and different beliefs. But they all shared one final truth: they died wanting more.